Was played when the game was first invented more than 100 years ago. They played with rackets like this called a vellum drum battledore. It's a light wood frame with thin goatskin leather glued on both sides. They come a neat sound when you hit the ball. This one was made by a company called Jacques of London in about 1902. Now these battledores I made very recently with using the same sort of materials, a light wooden frame like this with goatskin leather glued onto it. Now it sounded kind of like a tambourine, so I thought, well, why not buy a couple of small tambourines which have goatskin leather, put a handle on it, make a battledore. Another way to make a battledore is take two wooden embroidery frames, glue them together, put goatskin leather on them, and you've got a vellum drum battledore. Now these were not made originally to play ping pong with. They were made to play a game called battledores and shuttlecock. And in that game, you hit the shuttlecock straight up in the air. You see how many times you can hit it before you miss. Now people found out that playing ping pong with this, it was a little difficult to make contact if you held out the end of the paddle. So they started choking up. Manufacturers then made battledores with short handles, and that's why I made most of my battledores with short handles. Now this is what the goatskin leather looks like, almost as thin as paper. This is a piece that's over 100 years old. It was used on one side of this bat, and it was torn, and I had to replace it. And so I got some new goatskin leather, and it works just as well. Now, the name, when the game started, it had a lot of names. It was called indoor tennis, parlor tennis, table tennis, clip-clap, whiff-waff, I guess whiff-waff if you play with this, gossamer, and it wasn't called ping pong originally. But what happened is the name ping pong had been around before the game was invented. In 1884, a songwriter named Harry Dacre wrote a song titled Ping Pong, and it was sung in music hall stages by a comedian. It became very popular. This is about how the song went. Ping pong for breakfast, ping pong for lunch, ping pong for dinner and tea, ping pong for always, when I must sleep, ping pong, I'm dreaming of thee. Well, that's the words. I couldn't find the sheet music. I had to make up a tune. Well, about 15 years after the name ping pong was in a song, and I asked the comedian, what does ping pong mean? He said, goodness only knows. So ping pong was a nonsense word. Didn't have any meaning. Until a group of table tennis players started calling the game ping pong. And maybe they did this because the sound of the ball hitting the battledore. Ping, pong. No two battledores have exactly the same sound. Or maybe they called it ping pong because they were addicted. The words of the song imply that somebody's addicted to something. Now they only played with these vellum-placed battledores for a few years because there were no rules about what the bat could be made of. And people found that playing with bats that had solid wood blades, they could hit the ball much harder and win more games. And sometimes the wooden blade was covered with sandpaper, sometimes with cork, sometimes with pebbled rubber. And of course today all the bats are wood blades covered with various types of rubber, and it'd be illegal to play in a tournament with a battledore. Now not everybody was happy about the disappearance of the vellum-colored battledores. And this is, if you bought a table tennis set from the McLaughlin brothers in 1902, this is information that came with the set. Table tennis is a worldwide game of skill in which quickness of eye, good judgment, lightness and dexterity of touch are the essential features. Among muscular players, there's been a tendency in the course of the development of the game to ignore its finer points. These people appear to think that table tennis is a substitute for baseball. Some have gone so far as to use clumsy wooden bats which destroy absolutely the best qualities of the game. Long experience and endless experiments have shown that the light, vellum surface bats are the standard the world over and therefore the best. Well, if you'd like to know more about how ping pong was invented and how it was played in the early years, I recommend a book titled Ping Pong Fever, written by Steve Grant. You can buy it on Amazon for about $15. If you'd like to know how to make vellum battledores, send an email to me, dnorman@bge.net, and I'll send you the information at no charge. Now, I'd like to play some games with some friends, and we'll use the original rules that were published by Jacques of London in the game they called Gossamer or Ping Pong. They had trademarked the name Ping Pong for their equipment. Well, the rules were pretty much the same as tennis. You win 4 points, you win a game. You win 6 games, you win a set. And the serve, you hit the ball directly over the net on the other side of the table. You don't bounce it first on this side. However, in ping pong, you were not allowed to hit the serve like this. An overhead serve would be too deadly. You had to hit the serve underhand and contact the ball below your waist. And anywhere on the other side of the table was a good serve. They didn't have a particular service card. Also, in ping pong, you only got 1 serve and not 2. Now, why do you get 2 serves in tennis? Well, the story is that the King of France was very fond of playing tennis when the game was first invented, but he wasn't very good at it. So people said, let the king have 2 serves, because he missed a lot of serves. The king wanted to be fair. He said, let everybody have 2 serves. And that's why tennis is kind of boring, because the first serve is usually an ace or a miss, and you don't get to see any play until you have a second serve and the ball goes back and forth a little bit. So I'll get some friends, and we'll try to play gossamer or ping pong with dexterity and lightness of touch.